to order, and I'll have Nate give an indication.
Father God, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for this day stands for. We ask you to give us the knowledge to receive the information we're about to receive and make a good judgment on what we need to do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's go. No flags, so we do the pledge. All right, so again, this is just a special call meeting, kind of a work session atmosphere. We are discussing some items. The number one item here is discussion of appointment of part-time presiding municipal judge. Beginning July 6th, which was the mayor's appointment, and then it should be for the remainder of Judge Barry Vaughn's unfulfilled term. So
Judge Vaughn has no term. His term is expired and it's not reappointed, so we have to give it a term.
So currently we have an interim, if you will, and then at our next council meeting, we can appoint a full term.
So are we gonna have interviews, or are we just gonna?
It's up to us to place in whomever we would like.
Didn't Judge Vaughn write a recommendation for Mr. Farr?
He did.
I know it, but that, I
Here's
mean.
a copy of it if you need it.
But I understand that may be important and all, but shouldn't we interview some people and then make the best decision on?
Only reason I don't agree with that is because your main department people that the judge will work with would be the police department, and Taylor has helped Judge Vaughn and already done 2 court dates himself, and the police department are happy with his work and seen what he's done, and the recommendation letter goes a long way with somebody who served with us for 45 years, and I think, you know, there's no other choice in my mind.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but to me, when you say they're, I don't know, I guess it's just sometimes how things are
But
done.
to answer your question, no, we don't have to, but if there's multiples, we would, but I've talked with multiples who have asked and inquired about the position, and then I told them what I just said and laid that out on the table, and they said, okay, it sounds like they got a good guy, so they kind of backed out.
Well, here's the thing. When's the next court date?
It'll be,
Second, fourth Tuesday.
not this Tuesday, obviously, but it'll be the next Tuesday.
I guess I'm just looking at it, an interim is one thing, but then appointing somebody
But
full
do you wanna
time
make?
is another. That's
Had you rather let him be the interim and then do interviews, and then if
That's
he
what I'm-
interviews well, go
That's
with it?
because he may get it. I just, to me, it just
I
looks
think
like that's the fair thing, you know?
Yes. I mean, I think that we need to open the door for multiple applicants, just because it gives the impression that it's the good old boy system, and I don't want that impression. Not saying that you're not, because I think
Oh,
you've
sure, no.
done a great job as interim. Nothing against you, but I feel like we need to be fair to everyone.
His term, his temporary appointment ends July 17th. Court's on the 18th.
We gotta have a judge before the 18th.
But can't we just appoint an interim and then we still,
You'll see the interim will serve until somebody's
Yeah.
permanent appointed.
It's only
I'm-
30 days.
Whatever y'all think we need to do, I'm
According to
fine
his-
with.
According to the current appointment letter that he signed, it's only for 30 days, according to that law.
Extended up. I'm not entering into
I think it's extendable though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Cassie?
can't you just do it like you do everything else? Once you're appointed interim, you open up the applications or tell
Go
them
ahead,
wait
Cassie.
for a certain time?
Can I make a comment? When we were looking into the municipal judge appointment, the acting municipal judge can only serve for 30 consecutive days. So he would in fact have went in place at the time of Barry Vaughn's passing, so 30 days is July 17th. He cannot serve for more than 30 consecutive days without appointment. So you have to make a decision by that point.
Well, okay, well, let me suggest this, and I could be wrong. So, why don't we open it up for 2 weeks? We got 2 weeks then. If nobody applies, then we'll appoint him. But I mean,
The 10th is Monday. Yeah.
I think it would just be fair for, to give other people the opportunity as well to apply.
Optics.
Yeah.
and then, I mean, nobody may not even apply, but
Yeah.
I still want to put that option on the table. That's just.
Not that you've not done a
No.
good job.
You done told him that 3
Yeah.
times.
And if y'all let me sit in there, just if this makes any difference, fortunately, I was able to sit in with Judge Vaughn and kind of see how he did things relative to that whole process. And it's a fine oiled machine from the clerks, to the judge, to the prosecutors, to everybody relative to what's already in place. And to, you know, whatever y'all decide, it's just gotta be something that, you know, it takes time to kinda, it's not some, I'm glad, what I'm saying is, I'm glad I didn't just get thrown into it without having to go experience it, sit in that seat, make those decisions,
Yeah.
and got to watch him do it. That was invaluable, so, I just thought I'd mention that.
But I mean, well, thank you for mentioning that, but that's with anything though, I mean, sometimes people do have to start over, and sometimes it may be a good thing. I'm like, you know, not trying to say anything bad about anybody else, but I think we need to open up that window for
So
interview.
make him interim and then open it up.
He's interim right now until the 17th or
Okay.
whatever the day before court.
If I might comment, when I was.
You got to speak up a little
hired-
bit, Win.
Well, I'm gonna
Please.
take my mask down. When I was hired as city attorney, I was interim at the time. And the first time, I wasn't the one that was appointed. But I had all the experience, I mean, I've been in the city attorney's office for 30 years, but that didn't, in my opinion, make me any more qualified than somebody else might be. I had no problem with
And
them
look at Alex,
opening it up.
Alex was never city clerk, but I mean, she's flourishing, she's blooming into it.
Well, I mean, of course, like we said, I've said my piece and said what I wanted to do, but it sounds like the majority's the other way, so we'll advertise interview within 2 weeks. If we can have what does it have to be, a 2-week advertisement period? What is the minimal advertisement period?
And how soon can we get it advertised, that's the thing too.
I can advertise today.
In the past, I remember this being done years ago where, I can't remember the context, but the mayor wrote all of the attorneys who lived in the city limits,
Yes.
We'll have an office in the city.
have an office in the city limits, advising them that this position was open, and if they wanted to express some interest, to please do so. It didn't look like a posting. Can't remember how it was written. And
Is that something
didn't get any
I
responses.
think that would be an excellent idea, just
But
to.
we could write that today, mail it, and, you know, give it
Yeah,
9 days, 10 days. I don't think because it's not a posting. And then if somebody expresses interest, we can have a
Interview.
quick meeting with them, and then they can't get mad and say we didn't give them the opportunity.
right, that's the perception that it gives if we just appoint somebody, you know, without giving anybody else the opportunity to apply.
So Alex, Cassie, can y'all work on getting that letter typed out, written up, and actually mailed or emailed?
I think both, and
Yeah, both.
I would like confirmation that, hey, we did this today. So that way
Yeah,
it
the
doesn't,
council.
you know, cause I know you guys have a lot of things to do, so once you send it, and once you email it and mail it, can I just get a list?
There ain't
of-
but a handful that's in
Yeah.
town anyway.
I know, but just to make sure that it is done today,
Yeah.
since we're on a time.
And I assume they have business licenses, so they're gonna be in the system.
Yes.
So that should be easy to find a list. It can't be somebody outside of that list. And then we can come back and do the right thing.
Do you wanna set up a council meeting then for that Monday, since we need a judge on Tuesday? The 18th?
We're gonna have to.
Let's see if anybody responds.
Yeah, but if
Make-
nobody
make-
responds,
Make
then.
the response
We'll
deadline.
Still have to have,
We still
Yeah,
have
that's
a
not
meeting
the
to
point.
appoint him,
That's
Yeah.
fine.
and then he's gonna have to get sworn in.
Mm-hmm.
Make the response deadline the Thursday prior, and then you know whether or not you've gotta have a special meeting on Monday.
But we gotta have it
Have
anyway.
it anyway.
So either way, we gotta have a meeting on Monday.
May I suggest that we change the rules and actually move the Tuesday meeting to Monday, so there's only one meeting?
It would be ideal.
I won't be here
There
on the
won't.
17th.
Okay.
There wouldn't be a council meeting that
There's
weekend.
not one that week, okay.
Right, cause he's got court.
I'm
We-
out of
we
town
all
on the
do.
17th. Vacation.
It's the third week, so we'll
Yeah.
have a meeting.
But I don't think you need to make it long and protracted, just something looks like a courtesy. If somebody responds, we deal with it. If they don't respond, we don't have to deal with it.
okay, I'm good. It's on the damn.
And if you can confirm to those, who we're sending it to, so we know.
Okay.
So maybe some of us can have discussions with people and suggest that they not be interested.
What? That's,
Alright, so, I thought we had another plan in place, I guess that went kaput. We need to discuss the salary anyways, no matter what way we go. You see on your packet, it's paper clipped, the annual salary was 26,210.98, and in 19, there was a 2% COLA, and it adjusted to 27,528.98. It's remained that since the 19 adjustment, and, it's been paid monthly,
I
appropriation.
think that's fine.
Do we keep the 2019 salary, or do we adjust it?
Should there be an adjustment since there's been no COLA
I
in 4
think it
years?
should be adjusted.
I think we need to get, new money in before we start adjusting anything.
Yeah, cause we don't know what we do, what do we, do we have any?
You got $19 million you operate on every year, but
Well,
I mean, I
more
know
money.
that.
We'll get in that in just a second too, just FYI.
Right now, his salary, or whoever that salary may be, is budgeted for, and it was already approved at this rate.
The new rate or the old one?
So we can address it at budget.
There you go.
2294
Okay.
is what was already budgeted and
I agree
approved
with
for,
that.
and he'll be working off this year's funds, not next year's.
So we'll just address that increase come budget.
Yes, sir.
And we also need to get ahead and decide what the term should be, since there's not a term. There would normally have been a term had there been an appointment, and you could
I
make.
thought you
thought
appointed
it was
every
every
4.
year.
Not some.
Every-
2 or 4.
Statutorily 4.
But is it 4 based on the original calendar if there had been an appointment, or is it 4 starting with this appointment?
It usually runs with our term. It usually runs
Cause
with
you
the
appointed
attorney.
Judge Vaughn when we got elected.
Yeah,
We reappointed him
Yeah.
as his last appointment.
That's right.
And now it's rolled into an unappointed term because he was not replaced, so.
So this
it
one would
matches our
fill
term.
until
2025? What, 2024, cause he wasn't
we had extra
extended by
term.
the governor.
Yeah.
So,
We would
Right.
fill this
Yeah.
appointment and then reappoint in 24.
Cause he didn't get an extra year. You're right.
right, Mayor?
Well, it was,
Um,
because of his age.
lastly,
Take long.
we'll go over, I just wanted Alex, since she's, the new gal on the block, to update us on everything that she's been doing and going on in the city clerk's office.
Since I've taken over as the city clerk / treasurer, Nicole Brown in the corner was promoted to the administrative assistant effective last Saturday. We're still currently down 2 accounting clerk positions. The postings have been advertised, and they do close on Wednesday. And then we'll have to do the testing and the interviews and all that.
Hey Alex, did she get a raise? Is she being compensated for this promotion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, she is. Because her new job title is administrative assistant.
Just wanna make sure you
Yeah.
don't have to go back and fix the,
Right. It didn't have to come to the council because she just went to a step 1, which is what the job was posted for. I've been reviewing the city bank accounts, and noticed that currently we have 37 bank accounts within and out of the city. We are having all these accounts with 6 different banks, some are in the city, again, some are out of the cities. Since 2020, January 2020, the city of Sylacauga has paid approximately $12,500 in fees and fines, and that does include overdraft fees as well. We're currently missing 322 bank statements for all these accounts. It could be more, but it is not less at this time. The city currently has $54 million. 29 million are investments, which are untouchable right now. And I am working with the council president once the investments expire to figure out how we're going to reinvest. Payroll was delayed for the second time since I've taken over. The first time was because some of the practices weren't being done correctly, so we have fixed those practices. Last Friday payroll was delayed, people did not get it as they expected, but they did get it by Friday afternoon. And that was.
Which is the normal on
Which
time.
is the normal on time, yes, sir. The reason payroll was delayed was because after talking to some of the banks, it was brought to my attention that I did not have authorization to sign payroll checks. I did get with the banks and the council president and the mayor. and they were appointed as signing authority for that Friday. That is now corrected. I'm working with the banks to get the statements, to get online access to all our banks, to organize the bank statements, which we have been doing since last week and a half.
So
As-
the
as
silly
far
little
as the-
rumors going around about,
That we're broke.
yeah,
We're
that's,
not. The
that's
money's-
asinine
The
and it's
money's
incorrect.
just not
Thank you.
where it needs to be.
But why weren't you added to these accounts initially? Like, why were you not informed of this? That I have a lot of questions.
Not
because
why, who's responsible?
Who's responsible? Yeah, like more of who is responsible for informing you of that? Why were you not added to these accounts immediately? Who,
I was added to the direct deposit bank account, and I had the token to authorize bank deposits
but the 36
online.
other accounts, why were you not added to all those accounts initially? Who was responsible for adding you to those accounts?
I can't answer that
But she
question.
answers to the mayor though, right?
Mm-hmm. I do.
And we did a resolution authorizing the account signature changes, so that sheet has been presented to financial institutions, and that's it.
Yeah.
That was for
Apparently they never got
direct, that was for direct deposit, that wasn't for these hard check signings.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and we can point fingers all we want to, but the transition of Alex becoming city clerk wasn't smooth. And we all knew that there were some balls that were gonna be dropped and there were some things that were
Thank
gonna
you.
be happening. But the thing is that, the big thing is we got it taken care of now, cause we can go back and point fingers all day. The good thing is we got it taken care of now. And Alex, what I wanted to ask you, so what do you recommend as far as us having 37 accounts? Do we need that many accounts? Can some of them be consolidated? I mean, or
Yes, ma'am, I've talked to the league, the
Mhm.
Alabama League of Municipalities, and I've also talked to several city clerks.
Mhm.
Some city clerk offices have as little as 2 bank accounts,
Okay,
and some have as many as 3.
so do you have a plan of action to get this taken care of to where we're not having 37 bank accounts all over the city and outside?
I do, and I'm working with, the president and the mayor, and we're gonna go through and figure out what accounts we need, which is also we're working with the league on, and then the plan is to reduce to only have mandatory accounts and then maybe 2 or 3 extra accounts.
What's the timeline on when you think you'll be able to take care of that?
With all due respect, I don't have a timeline because I have to audit 1,695 bank statements
Why is that?
because we're missing them.
You're missing them.
We're missing 322 bank statements.
So is the bank
They're
providing
there
those
just
to
about
you?
as
How many pages per bank statement?
I have to get with the banks, and that will incur fines and fees for the city, because we
So,
don't have them.
Question,
Yes, sir.
do we know if the reason for establishing separate bank accounts versus ledger accounts, do we know what the logic was? Because in my world, if you've got restricted funding, that's at a general ledger level, not at a bank account level. But was there some method to the madness that we're not understanding for creating separate accounts? I can't imagine why we would.
You'd have to go back 40 years, but why it's been
What
developing
happens
over
is
the years.
we create bank accounts, for instance, the American Rescue Fund. As you're aware, we got $2.3 million.
And you should do that, so you
That
have
makes
to.
sense. And we
if
do
cost
have-
revealing no evidence.
That's absolutely correct. We do have the $2.3 million and it is in the American Rescue Fund. However, we are not subtracting money from the American Rescue Fund. We are taking the money out of the general fund,
You should move it
Which
dollar
is-
for dollar.
Yeah.
causing the overdraft and all the other issues.
You should
That's
do
what
it-
my
you should
question
do
was.
a
We're moving
transfer.
money.
Yeah,
I agree.
Don't rob
And
me
that's
of the
one of
ball.
the
In
things
fact, you
that
need
I
to
need
get
to
it out of
fix.
there so it doesn't look like there's money to spend that's not there to spend.
Correct.
Other question, why isn't every employee paid by direct deposit? Why is there a paper check world?
So now we have to mandate that, and we can. I was going to recommend we mandate a 100% direct deposit policy.
They get their money faster, it's done, it's simple, it's just done.
But not in their mind. They got certain deductions that they have to
thought we
go out of that
did we
account.
just not buy some new payroll
Yeah,
It's
software?
not installed yet.
So when is that gonna be installed?
yeah, what's
Cassie?
the timeline on that?
Go live for the new payroll software would be, hoping to be October would be the go live time for it. It's in the build phase right now.
We can mandate the direct deposit at any time.
Right.
You
That's
guys
so
decide.
simple.
I'm on board with that. I know there's a lot of people that's not gonna like it, but it makes it very easy.
Cause we are incurring fines and fees for post-dating checks.
Post-date checks.
Yes. We
Hard
write and we
checks.
sign the check, the hard checks
Uh-huh.
on Wednesday.
Okay,
We give them to certain departments on Thursday.
okay.
That's called a post-dated check. That's a fine fee.
I think we should go ahead and, is that something that, I'm assuming it needs a resolution, so it needs to be on the agenda? Is that, everybody agrees it needs to be added to the
I
agenda?
think so.
For Thursday, can you add it Thursday, Alex?
Yes, ma'am.
I got one more question, I'm gonna be quiet. Miss Alex, about the second paragraph you was reading, you said something about fines and overdrafts.
$12,000 worth of.
$12,500 since January 2020.
And-
We can account for it this time.
So there could be more. So
There
is
could be
that
more, but we're missing
because,
bank statements.
and we just said something about moving money. Is that because we're moving money here, we wrote a check and we didn't put the money back?
Yes, sir.
on-
Yeah.
That's because we're not doing the transfer until after the fact.
It's because we're not real smart.
Well, here's the,
What I've done, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
sir.
go ahead.
What we have done was we have transferred $500,000 to the accounts that we are constantly transferring money out of.
Right.
I.e. the payroll account and the claims account. That should alleviate any more overdraft fees because we'll have $500,000.
And I'm sure you've got a plan to fix all this.
But the minute we spend money from a restricted fund, it should
Right.
be transferred that day
That-
before the
yes.
check is issued. And
We
checking-
do have checks
Yeah.
that we could actually pay out of those accounts. We do have all those
Just
checks downstairs.
Like the American Rescue Funds that we've spent, like, I mean, and that money's still sitting in there.
It's spent, it's just, it got drafted out of
Yeah.
another account, so it either, I mean, it's
Need
bad,
to
but
balance
no
it out.
money
Needs
is
to be
missing.
balanced.
Yes, sir.
But nobody's stealing money,
No,
the money is still there, it's just not balanced.
Is the reason you're missing statements because some were delivered in electronic format only and they just haven't been logged in to be downloaded, or do we?
it's
get
because they're
paper?
sitting thrown in a box in the corner of the room.
And
A
there are,
box.
Yes, sir.
What
The
are we
proce-
doing?
The process previously was when the bank statements came in, they were given to the clerk's office, we would open them in balance, maybe balance with Springbrook. Then we would take the bank statement and throw them in a banker's box, which is just a cardboard box.
So there's
When
no
I-
organization to what you're going through.
There was not, that is correct. However, we did have an employee in the clerk's office assist for 25 hours of her time during the duty day, with some overtime, to create folders, put bank accounts, match everything up, and that's how we realized that we're missing several bank accounts. Statements, we're missing several statements.
I'm assuming
And
you've got there's a better filing system now, I'm assuming.
At this time, yes, I'm not gonna say it's 100%, but at this time, yes.
I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't expect you to
Yeah,
solve
you inherited a lot
the
of this.
world's problems,
All
you
of
know,
it.
just overnight. But I appreciate the job you're doing.
I wanna commend her and her department on all that they've been doing, and, you know, like she said, she kinda came into this, it fell into her lap, and she's taken it and ran and making
Right.
these, what you see here, and that's why it's not being discussed and brought up, because I'm not gonna discuss a half-truth of stuff that I know 50%
Right.
of. We're gonna gather all the information, form a plan of attack, and figure out how to, you know, since I am the liaison of the department, and will keep everyone informed of everything going on, but while, you know, I'm not gonna say, I think I have an idea of this may be going on, like, no, that's not appropriate. I'm gonna get 100% of the data and facts and present it to everybody,
Absolutely.
and like we're doing right now, so.
Well, the key is to try to determine why these accounts exist and why they can't be ledger accounts for the most part, as
Right.
opposed to checking against separate physical bank accounts.
there may be some that can't be, that have to be totally segregated rather
Correct.
than
And that,
separated.
for
in a
instance, would
ledger.
be gas tax,
Right.
court.
Yep.
So there are gonna have to be multiple accounts.
But
Yeah.
not 37
No.
multiple accounts.
And
Not
I
a
am
chance.
working with the Alabama League of Municipalities and several other city clerks to help us simplify this process.
You may also wanna ask the auditors just to make sure that what we're going to do will make sense to them, after we've done it.
This has not been
They may have
flagged
some
by the
advice.
auditors
Yeah.
about all the overdraft
I don't
fees and
think
stuff.
that they
The
have-
auditors
they
don't
don't
look
look at
at
that
payroll
level.
or our bank accounts, they just verify
Look
that
at the
they,
total.
in fact,
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
balanced, which
Yeah.
was a write-up on this past audit.
Yeah.
It was one of the 4 write-ups.
So they're
And
told
we
what
need to
they
change
want, what they
auditors
need
too,
to
though,
be on.
just to.
They tell us what they want, and they audit the same thing year after year, so we know what they audit.
And we only fix what they audit. or it's only been fixed,
I
or,
can't answer that question, I'm sorry.
But I appreciate it. I wanted everybody to get an up-to-date on that and what you and your department have been doing, so thank you.
Can I add one more thing?
Yes.
As far as the fiscal year 2024 budgets, all the departments have already turned all their budgets in for 2024, and the majority of the appropriations have as well.
Okay.
So within the next 2 weeks, we will sit down with the mayor and start our briefings with the
Put it
mayor.
all together.
So do we need to plan as a council meeting, two-parter, plan on meeting sometime in August, and also do we want to do a Saturday morning meeting until it's done all
Who?
day?
You talking
One
about for
meeting.
everybody?
Yeah, to go over the
Oh,
budget.
no, absolutely not.
I'm not for 5 or 6, 7, 8 meetings
no,
to get a budget.
I
done.
think
I
we
like
need to
the
get it
one
handled,
meeting
one and
done.
done, and get it handled, cause
Just
I
move
mean,
on.
we
Lay it out
have
to do about
drug it out the last few years.
We can
Well,
cater some lunch in and get it done, take a break
You
and
can count
get
me
it
out.
done.
I work all week, and sometimes we come in here
I
a
do
couple
too.
of times.
I got 3
couple weeks.
jobs.
I
I
get it.
know it. I got 2, and I got 3 kids. I'm not coming on Saturday morning. You
I
count
got
me out.
Hey, I've got 2 questions. Number one,
Yes, sir.
we used to receive a financial statement. Yolanda or somebody would get it to us. We ain't got a financial statement this year that I think of.
No, we have not.
Can you elaborate on that?
For the transition, what we're finding has held us up, but you'll get it.
Okay, alright, number 2. Didn't we, agree to call in some,
Public examiners?
yes?
Yeah, we did, we
You
passed
did it, I
that.
found errors or things that were discrepancies.
So we found errors and discrepancies, are they coming in?
And that's something I need to discuss with my liaison.
Okay. Alright, I'm good.
So, but August would be a timetable to start our meetings or later?
I think August to ensure that the budget's passed on 1 October.
Okay. So just keep that in mind, guys, and then in the next week or 2, we can discuss on a meeting day.
I like the discussion to just get it done and over with.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, y'all can do whatever y'all need to do. And then too, I don't wanna, I'm not doing it. I'm not coming on this Saturday. So y'all can just do it without me.
Okay.
But this is what I wanted to ask you, Alex, with everything that you do have going on, because it seems like you are having to be city clerk and you got all this other stuff to try to work through and figure out this and that. Do you have everything that you need? So is this a situation to where maybe somebody needs to come in part-time to help you do some filing or this and that? Or do we need to put a rush on getting somebody added to your department or whatever? Because, I mean, you are city clerk, you are new, but we don't wanna end up in a situation to where you're overwhelmed to where you can't focus on what you're actually supposed to be doing,
That's
which
right.
you're supposed to be doing all of this, but you're so focused on trying to backtrack or get caught up to where you can't even do the stuff that we gotta do right now.
Right.
If that makes sense.
I'm working with the mayor, to come up with some solutions.
Yeah.
And he has offered.
Appreciate that
Cassie-
input though, that's great, cause it is gonna happen.
But I mean, we don't wanna be trying to get caught up to where we never get caught
Cassie
up.
comes on Mondays to help out.
Don't want you something to
If- So,
There's 2 of the backup grades back there in the back of the room.
but y'all still didn't answer me. Is
She's,
that,
she's working with, Cassie comes on Mondays, but her and the mayor's got some options they're gonna present later apparently.
Plus, hopefully, those other 2 are still being advertised positions.
They are,
Vacant.
they close on Wednesday.
So those are 2 potential people that could help.
okay,
All right, that's all I have. I will, I guess we don't have to
Meet adjourned.
adjourn or vote on it.
it wasn't a meeting, it was a work session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See y'all later. Have a good rest of the week.
What
Happy
time is
4th
it?
of July.